In 1917, the British Empire controlled nearly a quarter of the world's population. If you were an illiterate sharecropper in rural India, crushed under a mountain of debt and daily humiliation, fighting back seemed impossible. But in the district of Champaran, Bihar, that absolute control took a very specific economic form. As this diagram shows, under a system known as Tinkathya, Indian peasants were legally bound by long-term contracts. They had to dedicate exactly 3/20ths, or 15%, of their land to growing a single crop, indigo. And they didn't get to keep any of it. That entire 15% indigo harvest had to be physically handed over to the British landlords as rent. Then the global market collapsed. Germany invented a synthetic indigo, rendering the natural crop completely worthless. The British landlords knew this, but they hid the truth. Instead, they told the illiterate peasants they would generously release them from the 15% contract if the farmers paid them heavy compensation. The farmers who eventually realized they had been conned wanted their money back. One of these sharecroppers, a deeply determined peasant named Raj Kumar Shukla, tracked down Mahatma Gandhi and refused to leave his side until Gandhi agreed to visit Champaran to investigate the extortion. When Gandhi arrived and assessed the situation, he realized that taking these landlords to court would accomplish nothing. The legal system was stacked against them. He identified a deeper root cause. The Indian farmers were entirely paralyzed by fear. The British authorities immediately recognized the threat of Gandhi's presence and served him an official notice to leave Champaran. Gandhi took the paper, signed it, and wrote a simple declaration. He would disobey the order. For that defiance, the government summoned him to face trial at the Motihari courthouse the very next morning. When dawn broke, the town was black with peasants. Thousands of them had spontaneously abandoned their fields and surrounded the courthouse. They didn't know the nuances of Gandhi's politics in South Africa. They merely heard that a Mahatma who wanted to help them was in trouble. Faced with an ocean of fearless people, the British officials were paralyzed. Their authority crumbled on the spot, and they actually had to ask Gandhi for his help to regulate the massive, peaceful crowd. Inside the courtroom, Gandhi didn't ask for mercy. He read a statement accepting the penalty, explaining he was caught in a conflict of duties between obeying the law and serving humanity. Baffled by a man demanding to be punished, the judge delayed the ruling, and the lieutenant governor eventually ordered the case to be dropped entirely. The masses had shown up on their own accord. By surrounding the courthouse, they proved that British might could be challenged, marking the exact moment they began their liberation from fear. With the criminal case dropped, an official inquiry was launched into the sharecroppers' grievances. Gandhi and a team of lawyers assembled a crushing mountain of evidence, proving the British planters had illegally extorted the farmers. Cornered by the evidence, the landlords agreed to make a refund. But they set a trap. They offered to pay back only 25% of the money, assuming Gandhi would stubbornly demand a full refund and cause a permanent deadlock. Instead, to their total amazement, Gandhi instantly agreed to the 25%. The deadlock was broken, and the settlement was unanimously adopted. To understand Gandhi's choice, look at the psychology. Measuring only the 25% refund seems like a financial compromise. But the actual sum was irrelevant. By handing over any cash, the landlords surrendered their prestige. They were no longer lords above the law. The peasants watched their oppressors bow to an Indian. They saw firsthand that they had rights and they had defenders. Seeing the British retreat taught them a lasting courage. Within a few years, the British planters abandoned their estates entirely. But Gandhi noticed the severe cultural and social poverty in the Champaran villages. A political victory without human progress was hollow to him. He immediately launched grassroots initiatives. He brought in volunteers to open primary schools across 6 villages, while his wife, Kasturbai, taught the locals basic ashram rules on personal cleanliness and community sanitation. Health conditions were miserable, so Gandhi recruited a doctor to volunteer for 6 months. As you can see here, they operated with exactly 3 items: castor oil, quinine, and sulfur ointment. Every ailment in the villages was treated with some combination of these basics. During this time, Gandhi's lawyer friends faced a final ideological test. An English pacifist named Charles Freer Andrews had become a devoted follower. and the lawyers thought it would be a good idea for him to stay in Champaran to aid their cause. Gandhi vehemently opposed the idea. He told his followers that seeking the help of an Englishman to fight an English system exposed a weakness in their own hearts. A just cause required them to rely entirely upon themselves to win the battle. The Champaran Satyagraha transcended a dispute over indigo. It acted as the crucible that molded a new, fearless citizen. By tackling everyday problems and insisting on self-reliance, Gandhi proved that freedom from fear was the true foundation of Indian independence.